the Beard here. What up, Beard Army? We are back with another educational segment on how to get better at sports betting. I mean, if you've been watching our Instagram page, you know we've been hitting some Poppy Fuego fire parlay prop bets. We're talking like 50 to win 4K. And the number one thing people ask me is, how do you do it? Beard, how do you hit these parlays? And I'm going to tell you something. I know a lot of people that do this super mathematical processing in order to get the highest probability and give you like edge. And yeah, there's a lot of value to that. But most people don't have the time, resources, money, or even the desire to go and build something like that. So what I do is try to make simple systems that give us the highest probability of winning. And today I am going to show you the system that I use to build those parlays to help you win big. Hopefully, asterisks, these are parlay bets, so there's a high probability you're going to lose. But if you can withstand the ups and downs when you hit one, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world, right? So let's get into what I call the FantasyPros method. What is FantasyPros? FantasyPros is a subscription-based service that I've used in the past for DFS. Incredible for that. But what they also do is give away a small portion of their service for free, which is very, very valuable when you're looking at sports betting, specifically to player props. So FantasyPros, if you're watching this, would love to work with you. I think you're an incredible service. For everyone else that's watching this, you do not need a subscription to utilize this system. That's the beauty of it. It's all free for you, at least for right now. So let's get into it. I've actually already done the work, but I'm going to go through each step, or else this would be like a 15 to 25-minute video. I know you don't want to watch me for that long. So 7 steps. I think it's 7 steps. Let's scroll down. 8 steps, with the last step being hammer the house, baby. Okay. Step 1, identify your game. The way you do that is I use FanDuel for most of this stuff. So when I'm on FanDuel, I'm going to scroll through and I'm going to look for what game stands out to me without knowing anything, because I've watched enough. Like, these are just the things that stand out. Julius Randle has been absolutely murdering it. That's a guy to look at. This team is super slow. I don't like to go against Orlando. Love this game right here. Never bet against the Clippers. You know what Clipper team is coming out the gate. This will be an interesting game, primetime game. LeBron shows up for primetime games. But the one that we're actually going to focus on, and I love that the total is huge, is this Rocket and Detroit game. So when we look at that and we highlight that in our first step, this is where we're going to spend our time. Too many people spread their attention out across too many variables. You can run this process over and over again to find the best thing, but always focus on one game, because you're going to be able to analyze it the best. Next thing we want to do is check the stats. So this is where FantasyPros comes in. I've already pulled it up, but the link's right there. We go into FantasyPro, and there's a couple things that you want to do here. Step 1, make sure this is at season first, because that'll tell you what, on average, ups and downs these teams do. And I'm just going to go through each thing, and I always do it on points, because if it's points, usually there's something with it. So first thing, Rockets give up a ton of points, give up a ton of assists, give up a ton of threes. On average, green means good. Okay, I'm going to take their point guard. Next is here, Detroit sitting at there, give up a decent amount of points, decent amount of assists, okay threes. I'm going to take Detroit's person. So I usually try to stick in the top 5. So I'm going to take Detroit shooting guard. Houston gives up a ton of points and a ton of threes to the small forward, so I'm going to flag Detroit's small forward. For power forward, Detroit's in the top, but their rest of their stats are okay, so it's not really that great, so I'm going to kind of leave that out. And then at center, you have Detroit giving up decent amount of points, definitely huge. For centers, I like to kind of focus on rebounds, so a good amount, because a lot of putback points, right? So a lot of rebounds on Detroit, so I'm going to take the Rockets center. So we've got 2 players from Detroit, 2 players from the Rockets. So if we go back to our Fantasy Pro method, we flagged, PG from the Pistons, shooting guard from the Rockets, small forward from the Pistons, center from the Rockets. So now I want to look at the last 15 and last 7. The reason why we do this is basketball is a game of runs. In the last 15, you're going to see, hey, is the team spiking one way or another? Did they get better at defense? Did someone get hurt? And then last 7 is like, are they fatigued? Are they decimated with injuries? So that's really where we're going to validate, is this going to be a good pick for us? So go back here, scroll up to the top. We're going to say last 15. And right off the bat, you see the point jump for the Detroit Pistons. So I know that the Pistons have Isaiah Stewart, decent center. I think he's not playing right now. So then I'm like, ooh, that's tasty. Also, the rebounds go up. And then let's go to last 7. And the points go up even higher and the rebounds go up even higher. So that is our best play right now. We need the Rocket center, who's actually playing pretty well. And we'll see that a little bit later. We want to look at him. Then we're going to go to small forward. Again, we're looking at against the Rockets. So bad news for us here in the last 7. Really, there hasn't been anything special sticking out against the Rockets for that. Let's see last 15. Okay, last 15, decent amount of points there. And on the season, decent amount of points, so kind of on the average. So I'm going to keep him in there, but he's not a focus. So if I'm going to remove someone first, it's going to be him. Next thing we're going to look at is shooting guard. Looks great on the season for us. Last 15. Looks even better for us in the last 15. Last 7. Still looks great for us. So points and assists seem to be the things that we should be looking at. And then 3 threes. So if it's not red, it's still in the play. So look at points and assists for him. And then for point guards, in the last 7, we said Houston. Houston's not there. They're not as great in the last 7. Definitely good here. And then on the season, not too bad. So we're going to keep that in there as well. So now we've got our targets, right? So I'm only putting these 3 in, even though the small forward's there, because I'll start with building that. And if I don't like the odds or I don't like the way that I can kind of build around it, then I'll bring the small forward in. But it's a bias, right? If I bring the small forward in into my identified players, I'm going to force myself to put them in. So I'll always start with not putting them in. And then if I don't like it, I'll use that as my bolster. It's my second tier player. Then player stats. I use NBA.com. The reason I use NBA.com is they give you the last 5. I like to base my stuff off last 5. Basketball is a game of runs. Last 5 is the way to go. So first thing I need to actually do is see who these players are, which I've already done for you. But basketball lineups change all the time because the season's so long. So I use RotoWire for this. So I'm going to go to this game. We were looking at the shooting guard and the center. So we've got both those guys over, and we're looking at the point guard here. So Jaden Ivey, Eric Gordon, and I'll mess this dude's name up, but I'm just going to call him Sengun for today. Sengun being the best play, Eric Gordon probably being the second best play, and then Jaden Ivey being the third best play. So we go back to our method. We've got those guys here. Then we're going to go to NBA.com. And I've already got Jaden Ivey up. I'm not going to do it for every player, but I can tell you Sengun. Actually, let's do Sengun because he's been playing really well. So it's good for you all to see him. I think it's S-E-N. Yeah, there he is. Okay. So on the profile page, this is misleading. Most people go to stats, a bunch of advanced stats. You don't need any of that. Just go to the profile page, scroll down a little bit, and you're going to get this last 5, the best screenshot of what's happening with this player. So the first thing we're going to look at is points. And this is where you have to know a little bit about basketball. Okay, 24, 19, 21, 21, 14. 14 is against Jared Allen. Jared Allen is a decent defensive player. I'm going to call that an outlier. 21, 21, 24. So 3 out of the last 4, they've been over 20 points. And one of them against potentially Rudy Gobert. I don't know if he wasn't in that game, but again, really difficult to be good against Rudy Gobert. So I'm going to say that his point total is probably anywhere between 20 and 25. And then from a rebounding standpoint, same thing. Eliminate this game. Really, minus this one outlier right here, we're probably talking like he's probably like 11 to 15 rebounds. 16 seems like an outlier for him. So 11 to 15 rebounds, 20 to 25 points. We go over here. I gave him one extra one. Dang, okay, shoot. I'm going to go right there. 11 to 15 rebounds, 20 to 25 points. Awesome. And really, this, you should just be identifying your players and then dropping that in here. So what I did was step 5 for you right there. Step 6 is to validate availability. What I mean by that is, are they available in the sports book? So then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click into the game, because if you build around who's available, again, bias creeps in, and and you start making stupid plays because you're like, well, I want to bet on this game, and these are the only people I can bet on. So the first person I'm going to look at, we're doing player points for all of them, is all three of them available? And we're seeing that Sagoon is available and Ivy's available, but Eric Gordon isn't available. Why they're doing that is they're not sure who's going to play for the Rockets. That could be scary when you're playing a Rocket player like I am with Sagoon, but I do think he is the focal point of the offense right now. So regardless of who plays, I'm sticking with him. But now Gordon's been knocked out of our stuff. So I have two options. Either I play positive plays on these individuals and get a higher return, or bring the small forward in, who was Sadiq Bey. Sadiq Bey is not here, so they've made the decision for me. I can go lower payout and play what the lines are, or juice the lines a little bit to make myself look better in this video. I'll just play the standard lines. But if you follow the Fanstitution, plug for the Fanstitution, a lot of times I'm posting increased odd plays. Okay, so we're going to take his points because we said 20 to 25, so he's within that range and it's close to positive money. Jaden Ivey, if I go back, what did we say for Jaden Ivey? We said 15 to 22, so not as great of a play. So this is me kind of forcing it a little bit because I said 15 to 22, so a point and a half under what he could, but I'm going to take that because of what we saw from a stat line standpoint. And then we're going to go into the rebound section. And we said 11 to 15. So we're right in line right here with that as well. We're going to take that. That's a 533 plus 533 parlay. Super simple. So I'm going to go back to my method. We know that these things are there. Those edges are there because we say that the range, majority of the range is above what the line is. So we're going to take it. So what's that mean? Hammer that house, baby. Let's do it. I don't put things online that I'm not doing myself. Let's drop 50 in right there. Bam. 50 to win 266. Not one of my bigger payouts, but still a decent payout. I hope this was a super simple method for you to follow. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram, DM me. I go by the Beard. Happy to respond to you. Want to see us all win. Remember, thou shalt cover. Thanks, everybody. Please subscribe to us if you enjoy this content. I'll give this stuff away for free forever. I just want to make sure it's valuable for all of you.